This video is supported by Profit Accumulator. Profit Accumulator helps you to earn extra money by doing something called match betting. Match betting isn't gambling. And when you do it properly, and I mean properly, you can't lose. So get involved right now. Click the link in the description and sign up to Profit Accumulator right now.
Hi guys, welcome back to AFTV for the Stats Review Show. I'm here with Cecil. How you doing, Cecil?
I'm very good, very good. It's nice to be on this side of the screen.
Yeah, I'm back playing presenter again. We sort of seem to throw it around us, but actually it's quite fun. I quite enjoy mixing it up. But yeah, you had a good weekend?
I have. We've won. I mean, everything's just looking up right now. I mean, it's the transfer window's open as well. Just trying to keep a close eye and ear to that and just see what's going on at the moment around Arsenal. But yeah, I'm delighted in what I'm watching, and I feel like I've seen bits of old Arsenal, which are honestly is all I've been screaming out for since I've been at AFTV, you know? But yeah, man.
A 4-0 win, I mean, against West Brom happened on Saturday. We've been so, like, what's the word? We've been craving, like, a really good performance along with a win. You can sort of, when you want to be really harsh about it, you can look at, like, the Chelsea result, for example, the 3-1 and go, well, the penalty was a little 50-50. The free kick puts us 2-0 up, and the Saka goal's a bit low. Do you know what I mean? You can sort of, I'm not saying we didn't play really well and didn't deserve it, but I could see how rival fans would start saying, well, you know, hold on, you've not really done too much here, really, when you break it down. Again, the Brighton game, a great win, but again, 1-0. So a great win in terms of our form against them. But again, it was a 1-0 that came from a piece of magic from Saka. But against West Brom, you just felt that it was actually 90 minutes of domination with 4 really good goals being scored, you know?
Yeah, I think people weren't giving us enough credit, I think, James, actually, when it comes to the West Brom win. Everyone kept saying, yeah, they're not a great team. They're around the bottom of the league. But I'm like, I kept saying, it's a big Sam team. We're playing in the snow, which I know is the weather, and Ty would probably agree with me, but I know it's but at the end of the day, when you look at who's going to win a battle in the snow, a West Brom Big Sam team or an Arsenal Mikel Arteta team, you'd think a West Brom Big Sam team. But we literally, like you said there, we dominated from minute one. So, yeah, man, it was nice.
No, I know what you mean. Actually, it felt all set up for sort of a Big Sam result against Arsenal, you know? Like just kind of the way, the weather, the late kickoff, the no fans, like it kind of felt like everything Big Sam would want to sort of make it difficult and hostile for us. But actually, well, I suppose he'd probably have wanted the fans. But no, we did the job. Let's have a look at the match stats from the game, which I think they're probably the best set of match stats we've produced across the 90 minutes. 21 shots on goal, 21 shots on goal to West Brom 7. 3 shots on target for West Brom to our 12. We completed 623 passes with a 62% of the ball to West Brom's 38, and our XG was 3.7 to their 1. I mean, they look pretty good, don't they, Seth?
Yeah, amazing. They are great stats, especially from what we've seen previously. If you went back, and if you guys go back and watch the rest of the stats review shows, you would never see stats like this from Arsenal. It's a great improvement. We've got 21 shots, 12 on target is amazing in itself, and then the 623, almost double what West Brom have produced in passes. I think, listen, this is more of what we want to see, and I'm so happy by it because I keep talking about the weather, but when I am a seasonal player, right? So when the sun's out, I was a player that loved playing in the sun and the fast football and 1-2 touch and the grass is fresh and everything's flat. When it's snowing, I was never that guy that wanted to play. I'd been happily sitting on the bench, trying to not the manager's eyes as he looks around for players to come on. I'd be like, don't look at me, it's too cold.
You're actually the worst. How could you?
That's legit. Like people that know me, and when I used to play, I was terrible. I was a diva when it came to bad weather. But but them stats there, the amount that we've improved in a condition of the snow, and like you see there, the passes 623 in the snow, and the shots created better than I think any other game we've played. That is crazy, and it just shows that we're kind of heading in the right direction. I'm not going to get ahead of myself because there is still improvements that needs to be done within the team, but that there shows that we're progressing in the right way. And if we can bring someone in January in this window, I'll be excited to see how Arsenal fare for the rest of the season.
No, I agree. And I think also with the stresses of a transfer window, you need kind of results like this that can just get you through, get you feeling positive about the team. And then the signing should always be the extra excitement. Like it's always about the results first. If someone said to me, would you rather Arsenal made 2-3 great signings in this January window or basically gone a great run to the end of the season? I'd always want the great run. You know, the signing's there to facilitate the results. So let's see. But I wanted to get your opinion on something else. We're gonna have a look at the starting 11 now. Here it is. We've said it plenty of times on this channel. You have played football.
Yeah, I'm laughing.
If you didn't know, you did play to a level where sort of the management of your fitness and your body was incredibly important. And what I want to know, what I think a lot of fans don't always sort of appreciate, is why it's so important to look after your body over this Christmas period and why it can be so difficult. And one of the things, obviously, we see if we look at this lineup now, Aubameyang obviously came in for Martinelli, Sabas came in for El Neni. That was sort of only really the big changes. Lacazette got a rest against Brighton. So talk us through that. Why is that so important? And were you surprised by what Arteta did with the 11?
Do you know what? I don't know if I was massively surprised. I wouldn't have said I predicted the changes. I didn't know. I didn't predict many changes would have been made in this game. I don't think many were, to be fair, but I wouldn't have predicted that. However, I wasn't surprised by the changes he did make. When I was playing, and the Christmas period was always just a tough one, James, if I'm completely honest with you. I just feel I didn't enjoy it because you spent a lot of time away from your family. Christmas Day, you're normally in a training in the morning, you don't do double sessions really. You can stick to a single session on Christmas Day. But it's difficult, and you have to rest. You have to rest, and especially what I want to say as well in this is that what I want to say is I wasn't a player during COVID times, right? So I don't know the stresses of having COVID alongside being a footballer. So whether that is you may have had minor symptoms, you may have been around people that had COVID, and that then affects your breathing and probably your fitness and stamina. So I think in a sense of players that were unwell and taken out of the squad as well due to being around COVID players or people testing positive, it may take a bit longer for them to get back into the squad because it's supposed to affect your respiratory system, so your breathing basically. So to get players back to full fitness might be a new task that us as fans may not be considering. So when we're wanting players to come back, we've got to consider they might be trying to reach match fitness due to being unwell. That's something I haven't experienced when I was playing, but it's something that I like to dive deep into what's going on right now. And that's something we need to consider as fans when we might want players.
Absolutely. We don't know how this pandemic is affecting. I mean, players got rested over Christmas anyway. You know, teams with big squads like to rotate. So how the pandemic is affecting them in terms of because of the fixture congestion and schedule and everything. When I looked at this 11 here, I wasn't surprised. I thought Martinelli would get a rest, and I kind of agreed that would be the right thing. West Brom, the problems they caused, I think it made sense to bring in Ceballos and rest El Neni. So I wasn't overly surprised, and good to see that the back four is getting a continued run in the team because actually I think they deserve it.
100%. I feel the Martinelli rest was essential. I think Aubameyang starting to give him confidence, and Arteta's thinking of this is probably the game he will score against. No disrespect to West Brom, but that's probably what he might have thought. He might have thought Aubameyang's the guy. This will be the game of all games for him to breed confidence and to get a goal. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. However, you can see how frustrated he was for not scoring. But I think that was on top of Martinelli needing the rest. I think that was his thinking that this should be the game for Aubameyang to get his confidence and get a goal, which unfortunately didn't happen. But
agreed. But I mean, talking of that back four, Kieran Tierney. I mean, what a performance and what a goal. We got an image here just to sort of show you a little bit. I mean, he's obviously, poor Furlong at right back. He's had an absolute mare because Tierney's not only knocked it around him, gone round then the other side to get the ball, then checked back in to come back in on his right foot, and then swung it. It wasn't even top corner, but he just found that space on that sort of the keeper's left side, let's say, and he's put it in. I think
Mate, sorry, I was gonna say,
Unbelievable goal, isn't it?
I was gonna say, put that in your Christmas calendar or in your calendar.
Yeah.
That photo of him celebrating in the snow will be used. It's class. It's just like him taking him on in the snow. The photo. Listen, put it in your Christmas calendar. There's some of the images from that, especially that moment.
Some of the pictures that came out of that game actually were quite special, to be honest. Yeah,
it's incredible.
It was, and I'm glad. I'm sort of glad he got that goal. And I said in my fan cam that it was actually really nice to see, because he's been playing really well for a while, but it was nice to see him get that moment that kind of people recognize. I just want to bring up some of his stats from that game. Obviously, he got a goal, got an assist as well. He gained possession 8 times. I think that was the second highest of any player. He made 4 key passes. Again, that ranked really high in the team. It might have been the most. I can't quite remember. I don't think it was. Open play, crosses 6, and a pass accuracy of 82%. He was just so... I saw a tweet saying, is it possible to run a game from left back?
Yeah,
and he kind of did. Do you know what I mean? He was absolutely superb. And I'm
James,
so happy he got that moment.
Sorry, James, did you expect him to have that in his locker? That's the one I really want to ask you. What he did for that goal. Do you think he ever had that in his locker? Because I never saw it coming. As in the weak foot finish. Don't forget that it's weak foot.
Yeah,
he bridged the like. That's not what I expected from Tierney. I'm going to be honest with you. That's something I never expected him to have in his locker, and that's no disrespect. I just have never seen him do that. I've seen him beat a player with pace and cross it in, but to do that was a spectacle.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'll be honest. I mean, I always knew he was a threat in the final third. I think that was always one of his, if not his best attribute. But I didn't know he could sort of go all Iron Robin on us and cut on his right foot, albeit Robin was, the other side. But, to cut on his right foot and put it in the top corner like that, I mean, that was quite special. The thing I liked about the goal as well was it was very Kieran Tierney in that it actually, how do I put it? He's got a very old school run, head down and sprint, you kind of see every movement. He doesn't guile across the pitch, does he? He's not like a winger who you see them just sort of like shimmy and guile pass players. He's very like knock, head down, run, and he kind of did that throughout the whole goal. It was so simple. Like you could see when he came inside onto his right foot, you could think he was going to do that from a mile off, but he still did it. Do you know what I mean? Like he was like, you could see him go, right, head down, I'm going to knock it and I'm going to go. And I'm thinking, well, the right back knows what he's going to do here, but he couldn't keep up because Tierney had that pace and he had that power. And then I mean, he's a wonderfully simple footballer, and I mean that in the most complimentary of ways. I really do.
He does his job, which is all we ask for from the team. And I just feel you're right. Old school is the right way to put it. He's one of those fullbacks or like the wingers that they don't have much skill. The skill they have is knock the ball and run.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I was at Forest. I was at Nottingham Forest for a while, and the manager, the under 23s manager, under 21s, Jimmy Gilligan, he said the best skill that I want you to, because I was doing step overs, trying to do the fancy stuff, and it just wasn't working. He goes, the best skill you can do is knock it and run. Yeah, you have pace, just knock it and run. And do you know what? Ever since then, that's kind of where, like, I would say at times I can bring out tricks, but that is what I think is the best skill that there is these days. Just push it, and if you're quick, you should be able to get on the other end, push it and run. So big up to Kieran Tierney, man. He was different class. And do you know what? I want people watching to understand this as well. We look at his stats quite regularly, myself and James always says to me, like, if you look at him, he's the one that he receives the ball the most. He has the most touches normally, but he also loses the ball the most. But when you watch a game, you don't actually realize how much he loses the ball, because everything else is so brilliant or so good in his game. And I just want people to watch to understand that most games he does lose the ball, but you won't ever realize he does so many other things so well. And for the team, he's very much daring when he comes to getting on the ball. He pushes it forward. He likes to put crosses in. So that's where his tally probably rises up in losing the ball, because he's the one that's also a driving force for Arsenal's creative chances. So yeah, just want to say that.
Very true. I thought this stat was quite interesting here. There were 20 passes in the build-up to Tierney's goal. Since Arteta's first game in charge of Arsenal, we've scored more goals following a sequence of 20-plus passes than any other Premier League side. I mean, there's that when people ask what is Arteta's philosophy, what is his identity, what's he trying to instill at the club, that's the answer. It's keeping the ball and knocking it about and trying to break through teams. The problem is that we've not been seeing that. I think that's been the biggest criticism. You bring in a number 10 and suddenly things happen. And that was a big part of this second goal here, which we can see Smith Rowe's rolled it into Saka for the second. This goal.
Look at Ivanovic's face. Sorry.
He's Ivanovic.
Sorry, I'm being childish.
He is correct there, isn't he? He does not, he knows that they've just picked them apart. I mean,
mate, that's the face. That's the face of an old footballer with kids thinking, "Boy, my time is slowly coming to an end."
Man.
Oh, mate,
he did. Yeah, I got to say, I felt sorry for him there. What I loved about this goal was it's that Smith Rowe interchange. He gives it into Saka, rolls it into Lacazette, who finds Smith Rowe, who's made that run beyond. And then by that point, we're in behind. Squares it for Saka, and it's a wonderful goal. And I've got to say, I'm watching that, and I'm just thinking, that just where's that been? Like, where has that football been?
Yeah, but you could say it was always there. But Arteta wasn't using the right players, it must have been, because as soon as Smith Rowe and Martinelli, obviously due to Martinelli being injured, he hasn't been involved. But since they come in, it's just been completely different, James. And I think it was under his nose the whole time. I'm glad they're involved. They're playing free-flowing football, and it's nice to see. And we have brought up a stat before, guys, that we were fourth when it comes to the most passes within a team. Albeit we haven't been creating the most from these passes. We are, like I said, we're fourth in the league for the highest amount of passes. But now you're starting to see, like James said there, the philosophy, maybe the process and what Arteta is trying to do by having a creative midfielder in there, and just being more effective when going forward and using the youngsters, which he should have probably done at an earlier point. But you know what, it is rather late than never. Starting to see it. So yeah.
No, I completely agree. Interesting stat here. Since the start of last season, Bukayo Saka has been directly involved in 22 goals in all competitions. 7 goals, 15 assists. Just gonna let that sink in. I mean, I can see you sort of shaking your head in kind of disbelief at how talented he is.
I love him, James. Sorry,
he's a proper player, isn't he?
He's just class. I can't keep talking about the kid. I can't. The stats say it every week, or every fan cam, or every person I speak to, and they talk about it, and they talk about it so highly, and I just have to agree, because I don't want to let my mouth go on how much I appreciate him. He's a great player. It's refreshing to see. I think for me that's what it is. It's very refreshing to see. He's a player that I'm not, or I never was. He's very composed and calm on the ball. He knows when to make the right decisions. He knows when to break forward. He knows how to play, work with his teammates very well. So it's just nice to see. And I love young talent. I really do. I've always been a fan of it. I work within the PFA now in the Football League, and I speak to young players, and it's always nice to see where their mind's at. And just seeing Saka, and there's many other players I like. Same with Phil Foden's. That sort of ilk of players is what I'm a fan of. They're very composed. They have a lot in their game that they offer, and I'm just excited to see it go, to see it progress. I know there's a lot of talk about how much would he be worth and all that. Obviously, it's all just in jest of asking the price of what he'd be worth now. But I just hope he just doesn't sign to any other team. The Barcelonas don't come in, the Real Madrids, the Bayerns. Just please, Saka, if you ever watch this, stay with us. One day we will meet, I'm sure, and you'll get. Well, I can't even give you a cuddle or fist bump because of COVID, but that is what I would like. A nice embrace. You're a star. Keep up. And don't get me wrong, this is not me taking away from any other player. We have amazing youngsters. Emile Smith Rowe, the likes of Kieran Tierney. Then honestly, you youngsters, Martinelli's, you're still up there as well. I've just been on a consistent basis. I've been so impressed with Saka. I'm sure it will happen with the rest of the youngsters that are coming through. They'll have a longevity as well. But right now, since the beginning, he's just been up there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I agree. He's made that right wing position his own, and we see we see this with the the third goal that puts us 3-0 up, Lacazette gets on the score sheet. He absolutely deserved to be. I thought he was superb. We're going to chat about him in more detail in a bit. That third goal comes from Bukayo Saka, this time doing something different to what he did with that second goal, where instead of coming inside and being a part of the play, he looks at his left back and goes, "That's it, I'm having you." And he goes and he just beats him. Bit of skill. And he was doing this. He's been doing this a lot more from the right. It's brought out a flair in him that I've said in a previous show I didn't know he had. And that's kind of where I've been so impressed. The thing I said in my fan cam that it put Willian and Pepe to shame the way he was playing. What he was able to do from that side, what he was able to create.
Do you stand by that?
What was that?
Do you stand by that as well? And that, like,
do I? Bloody hell, yeah. He's absolutely put them to shame. And the thing is, right, when I look at him, all our best football was coming down the left when it was Tierney and Saka down that side, and now we've gone, well, actually, let's split them. Put one of them on the right, and the natural one's obviously Saka. And suddenly we've got threat coming from both ends, and we scored 2 goals out of 4 coming from the right against West Brom. And there's balance. There's balance to our team. There's an unpredictability. You don't know which side to defend clearly because we are capable of causing problems from both. What he does is he beats the left back, puts it into the box. Ajayi's had a nightmare from start to finish, loses possession in the first place. Then he nearly scores an own goal, thinks he's back to his Arsenal days, then takes one in the stomach from Smith Rowe before Lacazette puts it in. And it was just, in the end, it was a scrappy goal, but it came from some lovely individual play from Saka, who was superb once again.
I watched back the game, I think, yesterday night, and I was looking at him, thinking about Pepe and Willian as well, and I was like, what is so different? And what I noticed is, obviously, Pepe is a very skillful technical player. He's more of a flary player in my sense. I think Saka does the push and run better than both of them, and that is what Saka done against West Brom. And what
surprises me though. That surprises me because Willian's the natural right-footed one, so the push and run should be his thing. Yeah. And also Pepe's supposedly the faster, more powerful, more skillful one. So he should be able to do that too. So how is it Saka? Saka's not got the build for it. He's not shown the flair over the last year and a half, yet he is much more capable of causing left back problems.
What it is, James, is that Saka, I may be wrong here, but what I've noticed is that Saka's he's faster than Willian. I think he's getting a bit older now, and he hasn't got the speed that he used. Not even that he used to. Just I think players have got faster and quite with him. When Saka is at that level of the speed that the game's at right now. I think Pepe, this is what I want to mention as well. Pepe, very skillful, can beat a player, but what Pepe seems to do way too often when he plays, he'll beat a player, and then another player will come and double up on him, and he will lose it. He hasn't got the skill to beat 2 players, which I think he does. But I just feel he doesn't get the ball out of his feet and does the cross. What I watched it with Saka, which you guys can watch back at the game, Saka would beat, when he gets doubled up on, he'll beat the first man and cross it straight away. He won't try and take on the next man or go back. Like Pepe would beat a man, roll it back, try and beat it. Saka's very quick to just go, okay, there's 2 coming, touch to the side, cross it, or I'll go back round. And again, that's just down to his maturity. Saka's he's smart in the battles he chooses, and he knows when he's got a beat of a man, and he utilises it. I think Pepe and Willian can learn a lot from him, which is awful for me to say. It's not even awful. It's just sometimes you've got to learn from the players that are better. I think your ego and your arrogance at times as a player can get the better of you, but at a time where you can visually see a youngster doing really well and being consistent, sometimes you've got to learn from that.
I will say one thing on Willian, who obviously had a couple games out, and fans, I'm going to be honest about it, fans were quite happy about that. He came on on Saturday against West Brom. I'll be honest, after a dodgy couple minutes at first, I did think, oh no, this doesn't look good. I actually thought he came into the game and looked quite bright, played some nice passes, kept the ball quite nicely. I just wanted to say that on Willian because he's had a lot of stick. He's had a lot of stick from me. And I think I don't believe any player turns up not wanting to do well. I just wondered whether he was in the right headspace and whether he was really adjusting to what was being asked of him and whether he was really giving his all. But I do believe he wants to do well. And I just wanted to mention that I thought he came on and did okay. Let's look at that final goal. Let's end on this. Alex Lacazette, point blank range. I mean, what did he get? A knee, a shin, a calf to it or whatever, but he was in the right place. Another assist for Tierney. It was just the icing on the cake, really. A fourth goal matches our highest win under Arteta, or in the league, certainly. How difficult is it, Cecil? And the reason I'm hesitating, I want to phrase this rightly. How difficult is it when you're a striker who, let's be honest, for a good year and a bit, hasn't really been in form, has been struggling, hasn't found that oomph, that extra bit, that hasn't been able to just dig themselves, and has scored some good goals and has had some good games, but hasn't found form, and now has put together 4 games where we've been really impressed with him, scoring quite a few goals. I want to bring up Lacazette's stats here while you just talk me through, but how difficult is it to get out of that rut?
Do you know what? I've been in a goal drought many times in my previous career, and it is a struggle. It really is. You have to really find confidence within yourself. You've got to dig deep, because there's no one in the change room that's going to give you the confidence to be a top striker or get back on the goal form. Like there's no one in the team normally that's like, oh, if I get an opportunity, I'll definitely square it to you to just get you back in your form. Like that doesn't happen, unfortunately, as much as when you're younger, and that may happen, you're winning games like 14-0. Your other co-striker may assist you, but in top flight, or the level I was at, it takes time. You need to really believe in yourself. And I think Lacazette, the thing with me is I don't know him personally, so I don't know his mindset, which I'm very intrigued about, because every time I saw him on the bench or being dropped, he didn't ever seem angry. I actually think he is quite confident in himself, in my opinion. I never saw him angry. I remember speaking, I don't know who I was speaking to in the fan camp, but we spoke about he needs to be, it might be Kenny, more aggressive in the success for his career. Like in France national team, he's not in that either. When he could easily be selected for that if he really, not that he knuckles down, I'm not going to say it like that, but if he really continues this run of form and he's hungry to keep scoring goals, he could be selected for France national team. He could be a top goal scorer for Arsenal, especially right now. He's technically carrying the weight of Arsenal and the weight of what Aubameyang used to be for us. He's currently carrying that. So I feel, and if I'm honest, I think he understands that, and he feels that pressure. I think he can. I think he just needs to continue doing what he's doing. I know it sounds a very basic answer, but getting out of a goal drought, which he currently is out of now, I think he just needs to continue being the player he is. Having the youngsters being around him also is massive. People always said it. I think he does a dropping off really well, protecting the ball. But when he's got players running in behind him, it allows him to score more goals. He does what he does best, and which I've said it before. He's a goal scorer. He's a goal scorer. Quick, without thinking, instinctive finishes, being in the right place. That last goal shows it completely there. He was in the right place at the right time. He scored and put his hands up like, am I off? I'm here. I've ended up here somehow because this is what I can do. Yeah, he's like, he scored and he looked around like, was it a goal? Is it it? Am I offside? Yeah. But that's a sign of a striker in confidence, in knowing, like, he's just trusting in himself to be in the right place at the right time. That's what Aubameyang needs to get back to doing, just believing in what he's capable of. And I'm happy for Lacazette. I really am, and I hope to see more of it. All the pressure really now lies on, if I'm going to be completely honest, is Mikel Arteta in his selection, in managing Lacazette to take in this confidence and the streak he's on. Taking it further is by what Mikel Arteta does. I don't want to see him being dropped for no reason. If Lacazette is fit to play and wants to play him. Give him the respect that Aubameyang had. Just play him. Don't do the, he needs a rest. If he doesn't want to rest, that also throws players off form. So man, I think
I thought he was class. I think you're right that the youngsters around him, like the movement in beyond, we saw the Smith Rowe goal, allows him to link up better. When he's linking up better, he feels good about himself. He's working hard. Just to bring up these stats one more time, total duels 15. That was more than any other player. You know, he did the hard work as well. He was really stuck in. The reason I've highlighted his pass accuracy there of 71% is that, in fairness, hold on, I think I might have realised that I got that stat wrong. But the point is, it was in the 70. Oh, no, sorry, it was 71%. Anyway, ignore me. The point I'm making is, you know, he was working hard. He was getting involved in tackles and duels and all sorts, and he was holding up the ball. And, you know, he did lose the ball every now and again, but no one came away from it feeling that Lacazette had a bad game because he was trying to do the right things. And, yeah, massive. I'm so happy for him because I think there's a proper player in there. And a lot of people wrote him off, and I started having my doubts. For the first season, I was saying, no, guys, he's just going through a bad patch, but he's a very good player. But when it filtered into this year, I started to think, oh, no, maybe he is past it. But he's pulled it back, and, you know,
yeah,
this isn't just 1 or 2 games. This is now 4 or 5, and I think he's looked quite good in the games before that as well. Even things like the North London derby, where it was all negative because we lost, I actually felt he played quite well. So, yeah, just wanted to say that on Lacazette, and I'm so happy for him, honestly.
100%, I agree. I was just going to quickly, just before we move on, I agree with you there. There was a point where I questioned him. I think many fans did, and said he might be past it, and he's not a Aubameyang and all that rubbish. And at times I was thinking, boy, I feel for him, but I still think there's more for him to do. Definitely, and yeah, I think there's more for him to do. But I feel like if he keeps progressing and that, we can really rely on him, and it'd be even better for him as well, because people that have said he's past it, he can be upping his value heavily right now by getting more and more goals. As harsh as that sounds to me, maybe for him to move on, but yeah. I want him to just continue doing what he's doing and take the pressure and lead the front line as he has been doing. Big up.
Nah, he has been leading from the front, absolutely. Hence the title of this show. Guys, thank you so much. Cecil, thanks, man. Thanks for breaking this down. It's sorry, gone a bit longer than normal, but 4 goals to break down. I mean, that's the that's the reward. You know, Arsenal score 4 goals. We've got to talk about them all. Guys, do check out AFTV, Moby. You can see it there. Anyway, lots of articles to read, a poll, go vote on it. Who was your player of 2020? Go check out picks as well, all sorts to look out for. And yeah, it's been great. I mean, 3 wins on the bounce. I can't believe it. Hopefully we carry on. I think we've got 3 home games in a row. And we've got a nice week off, actually, before Arsenal don't come back till Saturday. So a bit of time for the next game. And then that's the FA Cup. So the Premier League's back in midweek next week. So, yes, lots to look forward to, but also a bit of a break for the players, which I think they need. So, yeah, thanks for joining me, guys. And we'll see you at the next one.
Take care.
This video is supported by Profit Accumulator. Profit Accumulator helps you to earn extra money by doing something called match betting. Match betting isn't gambling. And when you do it properly, and I mean properly, you can't lose. Now, you always see these promotions by bookmakers like Ladbrokes, William Hill's, Corals, offering a £50 bonus to customers. So you sign up and you might place a £50 bet on a coin toss landing on heads and a £50 bet on the same coin toss landing on tails. Now, whichever way it lands, it don't matter because you won't win or lose any money because you've covered all of the outcomes. However, you get the £50 bonus, so you're still £50 up. Now, lots of people try to do match betting on their own, but it's very time consuming and not always easy if you don't know what you're doing. That's where Profit Accumulator come in. Even if you don't know anything about sports, they walk you through everything step by step, showing you how to accumulate money into your bank account. So get involved right now. Click the link in the description and sign up to Profit Accumulator right now.